Good evening. My name is Pastor Gordon Anic, and I'm coming to you from the Arvada Seventh-day Adventist Church. The name of this ministry is Inner Peace, and it is named that because we believe that if a person has inner peace, a peace inside of your heart and mind and soul, then everything else that you do in your life is going to be more meaningful and better. So I hope as you join us tonight that you will receive a measure of inner peace into your heart, and that comes only from God. I want to tell you, if you would like to see some more of our sermons, you can go to YouTube, you can punch in my name, and a whole bunch of sermons are going to come out, and you can watch them that way also. Tonight, we are giving away a wonderful little book. It is called Prayer Works. And I believe that if we connect with Jesus, if we have a strong, deep relationship with Him, if we share with Him our needs and our problems and our plans, I believe that He will answer. So tonight, if you call during any time of this program, you will receive a free book, Prayer Works. All you have to do is call and ask for it. I want to tell you that my ministry is about helping you improve your life. I believe that every person can have a better life. I also believe that many of us have made mistakes in the past. And sometimes you need somebody else in your life to help you out. So that's why we have this ministry. You know, we are here to listen to you and to pray with you. So if you call the number that's on the screen tonight, one of us is going to talk to you. And the people that answer the phones are all pastors. It's myself, it's my assistant, Milos. Many of you have already seen him speak, and many of you have already talked to him on the phone. And we are adding a brand new pastor tonight. His name is Rick, and Rick has been a pastor for a long time. So when you call in, you're not just going to get to talk to a volunteer. You are going to get to talk to a professional pastor, somebody who has been in the ministry for a long time and who knows how to listen and who knows how to pray with you and who can also give you some biblical advice. We don't claim to be psychologists or counselors or professional psychiatrists, but we are pastors. So when you call us, we can pray for you, we can listen to you, but we can also give you a little bit of biblical advice if that's what you need. So please call. One other thing that I want to mention, when you call this program, all we want to do is talk to you, give you a free book, and pray with you. Nobody is going to ask you for money. Nobody is going to ask you to contribute. Nobody is going to ask you to pledge. None of that. That's not why we are here. We're not here to raise money. We are here to raise people closer to Jesus so that their life can improve. That's why we are here. So when you call, you can ask for a free book. You can also ask for a free CD or a DVD of any one of these sermons that we have been preaching on this program. You can also go to our website, Inner Peace Ministries, and find a lot more about this ministry right there. Tonight, I want to share with you this idea that you and we are more with Jesus. In other words, our life can be better if we have Jesus in our life. What I mean by this is that a lot of people are Christians, but they don't really have Jesus in their life. They go through the motions, they go to church, they sit through the worship services, but during their week, day to day, they really don't have Jesus as part of their daily life. So tonight, I'm not here to preach at you or to lecture you or to tell you what you can or cannot do. I'm not here to ask you for money. I'm not here to promote any kind of a political idea or the agenda. I'm here simply to tell you that you, as a human being, are better off if you have Jesus in your corner. That's why I'm here. just simply to tell you that if you have Jesus in your life as your coach, as your guide, your life is going to be a lot better. Everybody needs a little bit of guidance. I lived in Chicago for many years, and I used to love to watch Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Oh my goodness, that was a fantastic basketball team, probably one of the best ever, you know. And I would sit there and watch them, and they would play, and they would be so smooth and effortless, and they would just crush everybody that they would play with, you know. And they were just amazing bunch of players, talented and exceptional, best in the world. But they also had one other thing in their life. They had another person in their life, and that was their coach. They had a fantastic coach, Phil Jackson, who later went on and coached Lakers to 5 championships. Everybody needs a coach. You can be the best at what you do. You can have all the talents in the world. You can have all the abilities. But if you have a coach, that person can see your life from a different position. When you're living your life, you see everything that you do through your own eyes. Sometimes it takes somebody else to stand over here and to look at your life from the sidelines and to say, okay, I see things that you can improve. So I'm here to tell you that if you have Jesus in your life as your coach, I mean, what better person than Jesus? God created you. He made you in His image. He knows you inside out. The Bible says that God knows us before we were born. He knows your DNA. He knows your mind. He knows your troubles, past, present, and future. He can help you deal with the future regardless of what your past was or is. Doesn't matter what your past or present is. If you have God in your life, He can help you with your future. Even Muhammad Ali had a great trainer. Every soccer team, every baseball team, every hockey team, every good athlete in the world has a trainer, has a coach. I'm suggesting to you today that if you want to succeed in life, you need to have Jesus in your life as your coach. And what's amazing to me is that most Christians don't have Jesus in their corner as their coach. As I said a minute ago, most Christians come to a church like this one on a weekend. You know, in an Adventist church, we go to church on Saturday. Most other Christians go to church on Sunday. So on a weekend, all the churches are full. 40% of Americans go to church. And people listen to these wonderful sermons. And they even take notes. You know, they write down all of these great ideas. And there are many good preachers out there who give wonderful messages. But how many people, when they leave the church and when they go home, how many people really rely on Jesus to help them lead their lives, to help them take the next step? You know, on TV you can see these documentaries where people want to lose weight. And what do they generally do? They get a weight loss trainer or a coach to guide them through that process. You need somebody to help you take the next step in your life. If you are taking that next step by yourself, without anybody guiding you, you can take a step off of the cliff and fall down into problems that you never expected. Jesus, He sees your life as a whole. He sees your past. He sees your present. He sees your future. He sees your life from above. He can anticipate all the problems that you are going to have in life. And if you rely on Him, He can lead you and guide you through this life so that you can live your life with the least amount of pain and the most amount of joy and happiness because you have Jesus in your life. Today, I would like to take a moment and introduce you to Jesus as your personal coach. Now, there is a stipulation here. If you want to have a coach in your life, you have to do as the coach says. Otherwise, he's not going to want to coach you. I remember years ago, when I was living in Chicago, I'm going back to that now again, there was a soccer team in Chicago. Their name was Chicago Sting. And they used to be a very good soccer team. Now, I come originally from Croatia, former Yugoslavia, and one year we heard the news that Chicago Sting, this great soccer team in Chicago, is going to buy a Yugoslavian player to come and play on the team. And all of us, who have come from the old country, we got excited because one of our own players was going to be on a team and he's going to show everybody how to play soccer, and we were happy about that. And then the day came, and this very good, talented player stepped off of the airplane and went into the facilities next day, and the coach wanted all of the players to run laps around the field. And this guy, he said to the coach, "I don't do laps." And the coach said, "What do you mean you don't do laps?" And he says, "In my country, I'm so good, I'm so talented, that I don't do laps. I'm a superstar." And you know what happened? The coach looked at him and next day put him on a next plane back home. So if you want to have a coach in your life, if you want to have somebody helping you to do better, you need to do as they say. If you want to lose weight and your coach says no more cake, well, you can't eat cake. If your coach catches you eating cake, they're going to kick you out of the program. If you want to learn how to play a piano and your coach says this is how many hours you need to practice every day, and if you refuse to do it, then they'll stop coaching you. They'll say, "You know what? Go find somebody else." How many people would like Jesus to be their coach and to help them out in life, and yet they're not willing to do what he says to do? How many people out there want God to bless them? They want God to come into their life and give them all the wonderful things, but they're not willing to do what God is asking them to do. When I was in college, I worked in a wood shop. And we made cabinets, kitchen cabinets. And the man, the owner of the shop, his name was Don, he had his way of doing things. And he paid me every Friday. And that meant that I had to do as he said. And one rule that he had in the shop was that you keep the shop clean while you're working. You don't wait until the end of the day to clean it. You keep it clean all the time. Why? Because if you slip on the dust, you can get killed, you can get hurt. So that was the rule. And we had one guy who said, "You know what? I just like to clean at the end of the day." And the boss man said, "No. If you want to work here, you're going to do it my way. If you want God as your coach, if you want God's blessings, then you also have to take His direction for your life. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, but God, oh, please bless me and give me all the things I need to have." Some of the things that Jesus is expecting of you if you want Him in your life. If you want Jesus in your life, there is a few things that He is expecting of you. Number one, and I mentioned this last time, Jesus says in Matthew 5:43-45, "You have heard that it was said, you should love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For He causes His sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous." If you want God's blessing in your life, if you want Jesus to be your coach, if you want Jesus to guide you, then you got to do as Jesus says. And one of the most significant things that Jesus ever said, one of the most important commands that he ever gave us, was love your friends and your enemies alike. In other words, love people. That's what Jesus says. And that's why I am a little bit upset, puzzled by all of this hate that we have in this country. Christians hating other Christians. Christian preachers preaching hell and brimstone on those who don't live according to what they say is the right way to live. People hating other nationalities. People hating other people because of the color of their skin. People hating other people because of their lifestyle. How can you be a Christian if you don't love people? Because everybody is a sinner. You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose. You can't say, my sin is acceptable, but this other person's sin is not acceptable. Homosexuals are going to hell. But me, I can go to church, and if I cheat on my wife, that's okay. You can't pick and choose. You can't say all of these people who are using drugs, they need to be locked up and they need to be punished and God hates them and all of that stuff. And then over here, when nobody is looking, you're getting drunk. You can't do that. And that's what Jesus was all about. Do not judge, because if you judge others, then God is going to judge you. You are no better than anybody else. A lot of these people who hate other people, they're no better than anybody. They think they're better, but they're not. So if you want Jesus in your life, then this is one of the first things that you need to fix in your life. If you have somebody in your life that you hate, a lot of people openly hate illegal immigrants here in this country. And they just wish that somebody would put them all on a train and take them, kill them all. They're taking away our jobs. Who cares what happens to them? Get rid of them. Let me ask you something. When Jesus comes and the books are open and the judgment is in session and you stand in front of him, how are you going to explain the hate that you have harbored for another human being? What are you going to say? Oh, Lord, they were in the country illegally. Oh, Lord, they were gay. What are you going to say? How are you going to explain that? Do not judge, because if you judge, then God is going to judge you the same way. And how many things are in your background? How many things are in your life? That's why Jesus says, love everybody. Your job is to love. God's job is to judge. And He will judge when the right time comes. Your job is not to condemn. Your job is to love, because if you love somebody, they may turn their life over to Jesus. If all of these people who carry signs, hateful signs, if they would carry around loving signs, maybe some of these folks would give their life to Jesus. Instead, all of these people, who feel hated, they say, well, if this is what Christianity is about, then I don't want anything to do with it. Christianity is about love. Number 2, be quick to forgive. Otherwise, you won't be forgiven. whenever you stand praying, Mark 11:25, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father who is in heaven will also forgive you your transgressions. How many people have I talked to in the last several years and months as a pastor, when they call me and they say, so-and-so, they did me wrong so bad and I just can't forgive them. If I had $1 for every person that ever told me that, I would be a rich man. And yet Jesus says, when you go before God and when you pray to Him and when you say, oh Lord, I'm not doing good in life and I need your help, and you help me get a better job? Can you help me fix my marriage? Can you help me with my kids? Anytime when you stand before God and pray, if you have in your heart unforgiveness towards somebody, God is going to close His ears like this. If you hate somebody, if you didn't forgive them, you can pray all you want to. You can pray all you want to. He's not going to hear you. If you want Jesus to coach you, if you want Jesus to make your life better, you got to love everybody and you got to forgive people. Fast, quick. Number 3, be kind and merciful. In other words, help out and give to people. In Luke chapter 6, Jesus says, love your enemies, do good, and lend, expecting nothing in return. So many folks are just plain selfish. I'm not going to help nobody. If I help them, they are just going to abuse my goodness. I never give money to any homeless people, because if I do, they go out there and they buy beer. I'm not going to help my neighbor because they don't help themselves. And we find all kinds of excuses not to be merciful. We blame the other person. They're evil. They're bad. A lot of times when a person doesn't want to help somebody, they demonize that other person first. Because if you demonize them, then you can justify yourself and say, well, they're a bad person, so that's why I'm not helping them. You know what? If that's how you're thinking, then you're the one who is a bad person. You can't think that way. Because Jesus says, love your enemies, do good, lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great. And you will be sons of the Most High. Now listen to this. For He, God, Himself, is kind to ungrateful and evil men. You cannot go out there and demonize somebody and say, I'm not going to be merciful and helpful to them because they are a bad person, because I just read for you in the Bible where Jesus says that God is kind to evil men. Ungrateful and evil men. If God is kind to ungrateful and evil men, then you should be also. I believe that some of you are listening out there to me and you're saying, wow, this Christianity, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not fair. God is kind to ungrateful and evil men. Do you realize that Jesus said that many people are offended by gospel? I believe that the gospel is not being taught today properly. I believe that the Christianity has become a force in politics. Christianity has become everything except following Jesus and the ways of Jesus. Jesus doesn't say to hate. Jesus says to love. To love the ones who you don't like. Jesus doesn't say to hold grudges. He says to forgive. Jesus doesn't say to withhold your help from somebody. He says that God helps ungrateful and evil people. You still want to be a Christian? You still want to follow Jesus? That's what He's asking of you. Number 4, be humble. Matthew 11:29. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart. And when you do this, you will find rest for your souls. Humility is the most important characteristic in the life of a Christian. God, if He's looking for one thing in your life, He's looking for humility. He's looking for people who are going to bow their head and say, Father, without you, I'm nothing. Father, without you, I can't do nothing. Father, you are my source of life. You're my source of everything. God is looking for people who are humble. How humble are you? Number 5, seek God's guidance. Matthew 7, 6-8 says, do not give what is holy to dogs, and do not throw your pearls before swine, or they will trample them under feet and turn and tear you to pieces. In other words, be careful about your speech to people. Be careful what you share with people. And then Jesus says, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. If you seek God's guidance, He will guide you. It's not enough to go to church and listen to a sermon. That's one small piece. When that's done, go home and seek God's guidance. Ask Him for help. I wanted to buy a car one time, and the man promised me to sell me this vehicle, and I prayed to the Lord, and I said, Lord, if it is your will that I have this car, please let this man agree to a deal. And the guy agreed. A week later, he calls me and he says, I changed my mind. I'm going to sell this car to my nephew. And I was so upset. And then I said to myself, I prayed to God and I said, if it was His will that this would happen, and if not, that it wouldn't. And you know what happened? He sold that car to his nephew. 3 weeks later, he died. Seek God's guidance. Ask Him to show you. Tell Him your plans. Turn over the outcomes of your life to Him. Ask that the door will be open for you or closed. And then if the door closes, fine. Say to the Lord, Lord, if it is your will that I get this job, fine. But if not, that's okay too. And then whatever the outcome is, God is going to bless you. Please don't forget to call for the free book. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Sunday night.